We talk about the
Yeah,
DJs
100%
and all
of
that
the
fun
time.
stuff, but I think the other thing we need to talk about with DJs, especially things that we want to do, is make sure they have a schedule of announcements. That's even more detailed than what we
Yes,
have.
I totally agree that we need to do that.
Yes.
So, because the camera ran out of hard drive space and I forgot to clear out that stuff. We talked about pictures taking too long, shuttle from the top of the hill, donation bin, car show awards at 4. 2:30, we had 200 people in line, and the PA system for the music at the car show instead of the storytelling tent. We just briefly talked about the cuss words for the music.
Yep.
Number 10 is there was a long line at the balloon animals all day long. All day.
All right.
Oh no.
No, you're fine.
This is
That's
just
a
we're
good
just
thing.
talking
We're just
about.
talking about.
Okay.
We're talking about the line at the
Even
balloon
Mary
animals.
Jane gave me a couple ideas.
So maybe we just
to-
needed
to
a few
help that.
extra
I
people.
think that we need a few extra people.
That's what Mary Jane said.
It's a
that-
good thing that we
Just
have any
blowing
people
those
there.
balloons up
Mary Jane
after
suggested
5
that.
hours.
Yeah.
And did I see that you
That's why
bought
Mary
a
Jane
pump?
suggested actually having 200 balloons pre-pumped.
I bought a
Yes, that's what I was
He
just
bought a
thinking
pump.
too.
Okay, so the
But-
problem with I've done some research on pre-pumping balloons. You can pre-pump balloons like
Only-
an hour
exactly, it
beforehand,
can't be very
but
long.
you can't do it before that because they deflate.
Exactly.
And we were not artists at the beginning
No,
of this,
doesn't matter.
we were entertainers.
Yep.
So they needed to come and help us. And once I had the kid help me with the balloon animal, how dare any mother or father in the world say this is a crappy balloon animal? Because that kid helped me make
Right.
it.
And no, that
Yeah.
has
So possibly
nothing to
we
do
just,
with
I
it.
think we just
we
need
just
more
have a couple
volunteers there.
If we have a
Right.
couple more
Yeah.
stations, a couple more volunteers.
Because it means
yeah.
your hit, that station was a hit.
Yeah.
We had
We
one
stayed
kid, I
calm,
know
we
of
stayed
one
calm.
incident all day long, and a kid ate one of the red berries behind the
Really?
train
No.
station.
Yep, he did.
That's the only thing I know about from the whole day that was
And the nurse said that it was off of a tree, not a bush, so there's no problem.
But I disagree with what she said.
I too.
It was
They
off
are
of a bush,
poisonous.
and they are poisonous. But she told me that they spit it out.
Who is the nurse?
That lady that was at the or the
Tammy Rothenberger.
I love Tammy, but she's not a nurse.
So
Isn't she an old EMT or something
She's
like
just an
that?
EMT, and yeah.
so
Yeah, I never thought she
They
was
are
a nurse, but I
poisonous.
thought she was EMT.
Okay.
How do you
one-
keep kids from?
I don't know. So one problem, we did have Brett Goodyear that did all the vendors, which I think he did a good job. He took a lot of slack off of my plate. But the problem is I think that we need to have a food vendor person and a regular vendor person because
Yeah.
all of the vendors showed up at the exact same time.
and he was over by the food
All
place,
of them.
and then they were
And
all
so
waiting
then they
for
were
him.
constantly, hey Brett, hey Brett, hey Brett, Brett. And then all of a sudden we needed no one for the next 9 hours.
Yes.
So that was a major problem, and that's what kind of blew up in our face previous years with vendors, and where we said, well, if we just have one person in charge, and I think what we need to do is we just need to say, okay, we need 2 vendor people, one person that's in charge of vendors, all vendors,
One person that stays in
and
the
then
booth at all times.
like that,
you
that's
live at
there
the
for
end
the
of the
whole
booth.
day, and then one person that just volunteers for like 3 hours to help with vendors.
Yeah.
And then we're done. Somebody told me that we should have a car show every Wednesday because
And you wrote it down?
Every Wednesday.
no, I write everything down. Doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to implement any of it. But it also makes people feel better when they are telling you about
And you're
what
writing
issues
stuff-
and I'm
yes,
writing
you're
something
right.
down. I've learned a few things in my day. But they have 1,200 cars estimated every Thursday at the car show at the Essen House.
Wow.
So one of the things
Yes,
that I had
yes.
people ask me, several people, and we've had this happen in the past as well, which remind me that I want to talk about that. The kids, can kids dress up? I had several people Facebooking
Ooh,
me
like a
that
Halloween
day.
judging costume?
Yes, we could almost have an
Halloween?
entire station
Mhm.
dedicated on judging
Costumes.
of costumes.
Does the community center do that on their fall festival?
They do, but you know, it's geared like so much for younger ones now. I know that we haven't been in a long time, and mine are 13,
We'd have to have
16.
age categories at that point.
Yeah.
But that'd be fun.
One of the
That would
things
be.
that is just something I had several people that day brought up. Now, the flip side of that is I also had somebody fill out the survey online when they texted that they said that they enjoyed not having lots of evil costumes around, and it made it into a family-friendly event. So that is 2 different sides of that coin.
You're gonna
That we
get-
need to think about that. So, one of the things that I commented on, I noticed that some of the bus volunteers were not doing this. They did not load from the back first when they were loading on the buses. And that's a simple
did
thing of
load from the back?
education. They need to load back first. So
all
same
the way
with
to the
you,
back
when,
seats.
when you board in a plane,
Yeah,
the
go,
people that go
Oh
to the
yeah,
back,
they weren't
board
on the
first.
bus. They were standing there and counting.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have something on here that basically says that volunteers to help. Oh, we just need more volunteers to help. 17, add story times to the layout of this map. Needs to have more information on it.
Yeah, we don't know that.
I don't know what information it needs to have on it, but it needs to have more information.
Or
on it.
where you're gonna squeeze it in on
Because
there.
I don't know. That's what we just need to really think about and talk about. Number 18 is, I had several people mention to me that we should have it from 11 to 7 and not 10 to 7.
I thought.
We still had a
Personally, I
couple
was
hundred people
thinking
on
like-
our
Behind
tower.
you, Eric, in the
Noon
middle
to
door
5.
is my laptop. Can you
You
grab
know,
that for me?
that way, because we do it in the fall, so you always take a chance it's going to be chillier in the
charged.
morning.
It's already charged.
And if you wait until like noon or 1, then it's usually it's warmer.
I want to
So
say,
I was thinking 12 to 5.
I want
in
to
my
say that
head.
we still had a couple hundred people on grounds that first hour.
We did.
If you shorten
I
it
have
too
all that
much,
information.
so
how
you're
many
gonna
people we
have
had
more
on
people at
grounds.
one time, and it's gonna get more crowded.
Crowded.
And lines like balloon animals.
That's
I
the
just think
problem.
9 hours
That's-
is
that's
way too much.
I'm
It
not
was-
disagreeing with your statement at all.
I think
It
because
was
long.
exhausting.
It was.
I know what happened during the day is our volunteers did this.
That's what I'm saying right there. Is
And then
that
by
That's
the
why
end of the
we had
day,
such a
we
hard
had
time
our
getting our
core
volunteers.
staff, and that's all we had left.
yeah.
I'm still
And they were
exhausted.
They
And
were
it's
burnt.
Wednesday.
I know.
I think we have to figure out a way to have 2 shifts.
Exactly. That's
But
Because
yes, we
it's
definitely
too
do.
much to ask a volunteer. Who's gonna actually
is fair.
say they really want to volunteer for that many hours?
Right.
It's
No.
gotta be
And
2
we need
shifts.
we need just one person who has that's their only focus is setting up that schedule
out
and
every
and
volunteer.
making sure that we have
would be-
volunteers and that doesn't have a million different other things going on too.
Okay, what we were talking about the number of people. You guys,
Our
did you
people
guys
the first
see
We
hour.
how
had
many
lots
people
of
we had?
hats worn.
I don't
it
think
was
I
like
shared that
3,800
information
people,
yet.
or no,
Where
33,000
did you
people,
get
right?
that
Almost
number
3,100.
from?
Which one?
About how many people?
Really?
I will show you because I
That's
have it all.
pretty
curious.
awesome, if you ask me.
I just, I mean,
And
sure, at
from what I'm
least
hearing,
I
3
would
o'clock
say
was the winner.
At least take a couple
Which
hours
No.
off.
means you and me
Yeah,
know.
we know for sure. Right? I don't think it should start.
Winner.
The
Well,
first,
between 4 and 5.
the first
That's this guy.
hour.
Oh, I owe you $1.
Okay, so the first hour that we had,
I'll get it to you later.
I can't really blow it up that much, but I can some.
Dang
Um,
it, smarty pants.
Come on, baby. You can do it. You can do it.
Scroll to the right. Scroll to the left.
Microsoft, you drive me nuts sometimes. Okay, on property net, the very first hour we had 148 people that remained on the property
That was on buses.
that were on buses. The second hour we got to 138 net, 179 net, 153 net, 68 net, 37, and then 2 and negative 90 and negative 363. But if you take into the number of people that we had for the car show, number of people that we had roughly for the vendors and helping vendors, and families that were with vendors, because we know that families came with vendors, so it wasn't just one person. Plus the number of handicap volunteers, because I did see people that were not handicapped park in the handicap parking lot.
Yeah.
We estimated that at between 3 and 4 we hit 1,303 people on property. But the first hour we only estimated had about 448
It was
people.
constant, it seemed like.
It
So
was
maybe I
pretty
do use
constant.
that.
But it
We-
definitely ramped up in the afternoon.
The first time
It
before you
did.
had another
That's
black
what
column,
that's
I was
the
on
only
that
reason I
for
think.
five.
I mean,
You
no
get
matter
a dollar
what,
and I'll make it
I mean, you
artwork.
guys
It'll
like
be living
figure out
on
how
the
much
wall
time you want to shorten it, but
forever.
I do think it needs to be a little bit,
That when
the
you
start
become
time needs to be a
famous,
little
I'll
bit later
say.
so it's warmer no matter
We
what.
we had an estimate. Adam's count from the buses was 1,806 people rode the buses, but
I saw a lot of people walking too.
we did too. And I know, for example, like Carla at the bowling alley, she told me. I mean, I saw her on the property with her
Yeah,
her
she was
kid
there. She was
and
there.
her husband, but they parked at Wolvesey Heights,
Yeah,
and they
I
walked.
parked across the
So
street.
that's like, we could have utilized that open lot right
I
beside
did.
it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
the high school, so
So-
they wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
Just
So
like
it
down
was
the house and
interesting.
closer,
We
there's
had
walkers.
1,806 people ride the bus here, and only 1,638 people ride it back.
A couple people,
So there was
lost some
almost a
people.
couple hundred people walked back.
There was only one kid that lost a parent.
We have a rough estimate of 3,086 people. We're estimating about 700 people walked. Just from people that we saw. I mean, because every time the tour bus was going, there was people they had to dodge.
You know, it might be an idea though, like
So.
since Tom let us, you know, I mean, he was more than
Tom.
Eddington. He was more than good with us using the parking lot and stuff.
Yeah.
maybe next year if we suggest, for like walking people, like if they wanna walk, that lot, that open lot right beside our house. I mean, they could park, you know what I mean? Of course, I would have to tape it off, because if they drove in Tony's yard, he might have a heart attack.
I think you'd be surprised how quickly that lot would fill up.
It would,
Yeah.
but I mean, there's also an option for walk, because
Well,
I saw a lot of people walking.
The issue with that is people get upset if there's no parking attendant.
Oh, that's true, never mind,
Yes.
forget that,
They
let's
do.
go back.
We've
to
learned that,
parking lot.
and see, that's why when we
Yeah,
got
'cause
all of the
unless you have
parking
people
off of here,
directing everything.
we got rid of like 8 volunteers just that did parking.
Okay,
'Cause
yeah, that's
people
right.
they needed people where to park and where to not park. And okay, so the next thing that we have is somebody mentioned to me that Girl Scouts should come and volunteer. We give them a table for free, but they have to volunteer.
Do we have many Girl Scouts
don't know.
I don't think Girl
Well-
Scouts is as big in this area.
No.
What happened to the Boy Scouts?
Well, it's the same. I don't know what happened to half the vendors that were there.
Couldn't you-
Yeah,
Who's
they
our
didn't show
contact?
up.
Who's like the
Yeah,
the
they
grand
text
poobah, grand
2 days beforehand, so they
what do you
could
call
go.
it when you're
Orchestrator?
But they didn't say
well
why.
when you are
Let me see.
I didn't know.
the parent.
Cub Master.
Yeah.
No,
I just
I
wanted to
lost
tell them.
a few of them.
Well, that's one of my action items that I have is to follow up
I
with
think
Brett
the
why
big part was
the Boy
how
Scouts
long
did,
it
or the
was.
Cub Scouts didn't come.
Yeah.
I don't know why. they
Legion-
didn't come.
And here's
Loved it.
Kiwanis and Rotary and Lions
Yes.
and
I think
other
that
church groups
a
don't
big
show up.
action
I mean-
item is
Yeah,
we
I
need to reach out
we
to
had
those
some
clubs
volunteers.
and
I
say,
really
we
feel
will
like
give
we
you a
need to-
tent or a booth spot.
Legion loved it,
But
but
we
we
need
need
to
to
volunteer
sponsor
time.
we need to
something.
have maybe like a luncheon or something where we
Who
bring
were
these
there
folks
the
in
entire
Uh-huh.
time.
and tell them and talk this thing up.
I agree. And I'm saying what's the same with
Sell the
church-
idea.
The
It's
church
really
booth,
meaningful to all
Yeah,
of us.
Tammy's
We all
right.
have a vested interest in this.
Same
Mary's
thing with the
family.
churches in the
Were
area,
they
because
there?
they do the
See, I
same thing,
didn't
they make their
even-
own
I
food
didn't-
for trying.
I was
So,
stuck.
Yeah.
in two
but they
hours,
usually
so I
provide
didn't-
cheaper food than those other food vendors do.
The
Sure.
problem is I really want to be careful about having church groups come in and giving food because they do not have food permits.
And that
And
could get
I
us in
don't
trouble.
want anybody, I don't want me in trouble for anything because they don't have, all those other food vendors, they all have food permits. And that was the big difference between having a food
You
truck
have to have a
and
cater, like a catering
booth.
permit or something.
a booth.
Yeah.
They have,
So the Boy Scouts didn't make it because they were all camping or busy that weekend.
but the problem is
They planned it way ahead of time.
they were the ones that were begging me for a booth spot on Wednesday.
The Boy Scouts always
Just
do that.
saying.
They
I know.
overfill their schedule, and then the
Okay.
kids can't make half the
So
stuff.
how about 6 months
because-
out, we have a vendor recruiting lunch.
Amen, and we
I think so.
target these groups because they can
We'll get
spell
something
each other
out.
out.
Charge.
One of the other things that, one of the other things that somebody mentioned to me is that we should have Leanne Stewart, we should give them a booth in exchange for, they have between 2 and 4 different dances on the stage.
Who is this?
If
Leanne
you
Stewart,
can get her
dance
to.
school.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be able to.
I don't-
I just wrote down the idea that somebody.
I mean, it's a good idea just for a little bit of entertainment.
The one in Ligonier that does the.
I would, personally, I would go to Deb Collier or the clogging one in Ligonier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Because I
question
doubt
whether or
you'll
not we
get
need an
anything out
entertainment
of
permit,
Leanne.
but-
I
I
mean,
doubt it.
I
I
question
doubt
it
you
too.
can.
You know, I fill it out with just
No.
an acknowledgement. We fill it
I
out
don't
for
think that
less
we
than
should do
100
it next
people.
year.
And we like,
But if we
It
do
says
we
if it's
all
over
wanna-
100 people.
We fill it out for less than 100 people. I fill it out for the basic bare bones deal. Is what it's just like a
I feel like
nod
we're covering
to
our
the
butts
fire
there,
marshal.
though,
Come
by
on
getting
over.
that.
Yes and no, but the fire marshal showed up Monday
Yeah, wait,
morning.
didn't you quote? Did I not hear you specifically say
Yeah.
he never shows up the day of?
Yeah, I
He always does.
never saw him.
But
do
here's
that.
the thing. The
I would
reason
remember doing it the.
we did that was because there was a year that we went on visitor center message board, for lack of a better word,
Uh-huh.
and we had to have that before they put us on that and advertised for us. That was 3 years ago. That's why we started doing that entertainment permit, so we could go and
I
broadcast
thought
it
it
to all
was
the
when
web
we had
pages.
live music that we.
I remember the guy showing up. That's all I remember. I'm like, oh, we have a fire marshal.
Well, I know on
How did that
Monday,
go?
I was
Comes.
dicking with the guy, and
Lovely.
he was basically telling me that all of our lobby furniture had to move.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Monday,
thank
yeah.
you for that. Thanks a lot for that, because
And-
I'm like,
and
I got a new
When
restriction.
you see
or-
him, I think that what's gonna have to happen going forward is I'm gonna have to be on property the whole time.
That's fine,
Because
you
I told him,
pulled
I
off
said,
the-
I will be glad to move this furniture if you can bring with you the code that tells me that it has to
You
be
need to
changed.
show me why and
You
where.
show me,
Where's
I will
Matt's
change
numbers? Not-
whatever you want me to change, but I have to have the code.
He's a pain in the ass.
He is a
It was
jerk.
major pain.
But
So-
then,
How
you know,
was he the morning of though?
oh, he was fine, but he's scared because there's so many people walking around, and he's just not.
But he didn't.
He's not
know.
a social
He's not.
guy.
When
So that
when he
helped
showed
us.
up Monday,
So,
he looked around and he's like,
Where's all the people?
"Where's all the stuff? Where's the people?" That's literally what he
I
presented
think we're
to
just
me. I'm
partying
like,
for days.
well,
right?
the fall festival is done. It was on Saturday.
One day event.
He's like, but that doesn't make any sense.
came on
Why is it
Monday.
one day? And I'm like, what does it matter whether it makes sense to you or not?
Because we're exhausted.
The
we don't have
permit we
One
filled
day.
out exactly had
And
the
look what he
time.
does.
I
Does this
hate
guy have a
it.
box?
Now
I
he
got-
messes with
I
the fire
report to
marshal.
anyone.
Good
Now I
luck,
gotta-
because
now I
the
gotta
fire
fix
marshal
something.
is.
Yeah, they're a dick.
I go to
Sucks.
sleep.
Okay, so
Wake
we
up.
need to have a
So
schedule
there's
of
great
volunteers. I think we already talked about it, but having like shifts.
Of what?
Schedule of
Shifts of
shifts of volunteers for each station. And I'm gonna have the new admin clean up that volunteer thing, so that way we can kinda put that in shifts. And, cause we have some phone numbers of some people, and Mary
But
got
see, the
some
thing
of
is,
them,
It,
so.
But-
it was a hot
Are
mess.
you,
huh?
are you wanting to like call those people again and like every year and ask them if they come back?
Well,
Because
at least if we have a placeholder
Cause I
for
think
people,
it's
we
stretchy
actually have a starting point.
of people to call and
Yeah,
at least
we
ask.
can literally
Okay.
say, hey, do you wanna volunteer again? Last year we had you doing this, do you wanna do that again? Type thing.
I thought Devin
Um,
did great.
Who?
Devin.
This was good.
He
Devin
was
did a good
everywhere.
job.
Did a
What's
good
wrong?
job. No, I'm stretching.
Okay. Okay, the next thing I have is, we have the Romance Getaway booth outside. It did not help increase sales at all.
No.
And it made it confusing because nobody really understood.
If we're gonna
Well,
do
we did-
if we're gonna do it outside, then we gotta
Put it
take
this way,
out
the
that
reason,
whole thing
the
behind
reason
it.
why I
It
did
failed is because the pictures failed.
that and all the
Yes.
years previous, it's
No,
a
no,
combo.
hold
It's a
on.
combo.
No, we didn't
That's
have
not an
that.
insult to you, I'm
If
saying.
people didn't see that the
I mean-
booth and all that was there.
This year was the first year we had people let off at the hill. Every other year prior, their main entrance was through the front of the hotel.
You're right.
Right.
Good call on that. You're
So,
absolutely
all the
right.
traffic
And that
was-
also,
Good
There was
point on
nothing
that.
holding that
We should
traffic
have
that way.
everything in front of these folks when they hit property.
and then
Yeah.
that also
The
takes
things we
care of the
want
people
from
complaining about being dropped off at the top of the hill.
Put
Yeah,
it right
but-
by where the story time was next year. Is it a little bit?
We
little
can't
bit-
have that stuff outside. I mean, we don't have any booth
It was
material to
windy
be
and
able to
hard,
have
too.
outside. We spent $3,000 on that booth. You put that outside and it rains, it's done. $3,000
Right.
gone.
So how do we get people inside then?
Drop them off at the front entrance.
All right.
The problem
then
is
I'm
that the
gonna-
tour buses are not allowed by law to back up when they have people on them.
Yes.
Why
When
do
it's
you want
chartered, they
one
are not
inside?
allowed to back up.
This is two separate events. It is a hotel that's built against the fall festival.
I thought it worked out
Please
well
don't
by
put 'em
not
in the
having,
house.
huh?
Please don't run
No.
them through the house
No,
because
that's-
it's
that's-
just irritating and confusing and harder on the basic staff that has to run the hotel at full speed.
And at the end of the day,
and
that
that was
hotel
one
was
comment
rough.
you guys have positive was that the spacing was good
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't have any choke points at people.
Yeah, there was
Which
no choke
I
points.
thought that was a good thing.
In
There
years
was no choke
past,
point.
I mean, there was one year it rained and everyone was inside.
Yes.
Well, what if we
Everywhere.
set up a tent then
Same
outside
problem.
for?
We
I
have
mean,
been down that road, and it's a business rule now that, well, it's not a quote-unquote business rule, but it's a guideline that we don't do expos or events if it's outside and not on concrete.
What if we just don't do our booth at all? What if we just have a table with our brochures and a person and,
That's possible.
I mean, it
I
doesn't
mean,
have
right.
to look
That's true.
stunning.
You could
It's
just get a
fall
banner.
festival.
We
Just
do
like
have, we
banner.
already
a
have a banner.
banner and a
That could be
table
done.
and.
We also have
Yeah.
that Illumicor sign that's heavy.
and
that
then
you
that,
can use.
That's true.
then you guys
That's
don't have to
true.
worry about ruining that equipment.
Right.
So having an
That's what
outside,
it means.
outside
An
vendor
outside
spot.
setup
And I
too.
like the idea of putting it over kind of near where the story booth was because all the people after they were at the car show walked right past there.
They
to get
walked right
everything
past there,
else.
but they didn't stop.
But they would if you said
But they would if
hi.
they had a booth there.
Let me
Well,
talk
we
to you
talked about
this.
we talked about
If they
just
had
putting
you,
more vendors
Eric,
up
and
there.
you know Sean, frickin' frack in there.
We're wondering if we
How
should
about
have
the
more vendors.
mascot standing there too.
Right, yeah, and people
I
stop to
think
take
we
pictures.
should be a little bit more
and-
selective and pick like because I noticed we did have duplicate vendors and stuff, which I know we were
Yeah.
taking what we could
We're
get,
gonna
but
have to
then
try
that
to
could have
figure that
also
out.
upset them too.
I agree.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't do that. It's-
I put on here Portraits by Judy no go again next year
I'm gonna
and buy our own equipment.
respectfully argue that
Ooh.
when it's time to argue that.
Because I have a nice camera, I just don't have the flashlights.
Do you have the time to do that?
Well, I don't, but I'll find somebody to.
I think she'll get stronger as she works with us. I honestly,
Maybe.
honestly
But the
do.
attitude that her husband had when he says,
Oh, wow.
I don't want anybody looking at my people while they're getting a picture taken, I will not do it and we'll leave right now. When he left that way, I was just like,
When did he
okay.
say that?
The day he was setting up.
Yeah,
Yeah, Eric was there.
we were in the same room.
He says
with us.
if you guys are gonna have these windows open, these doors open when people are getting their picture taken, we're leaving right now.
That's quote unquote, pretty much. what
Quote
he said.
unquote.
Well, I'm glad I didn't hear that, cause I'd have had a whole
I think Judy
different-
wasn't so much a problem.
Eh,
Husband was the
No,
problem.
it was the husband that was the problem.
I'd had a
seemed
whole
nice
different
and
attitude
exhausted
working
at
with
the
them
end.
if I had known that.
She
Yeah,
did.
I thought you did know that.
I'm
One of the
glad I
things
didn't
she
know
did
that.
suggest to me and Carrie at the end of the night when she was leaving.
Or when she
Was
just
that-
up and left.
Well, no, she came over and talked to us, and she was exhausted. She hadn't had a break, and she said maybe if we could kind of post something on the door or something, you know, that gives her like a half an hour or 45 minutes to eat in between there
how
or
do you
something.
do that when you have so many people in line waiting to get a picture?
You do it the
Well,
same
but
way.
at the same
and
time, it's
the,
because you don't do it 9
hayride.
hours.
You go
We
to
don't
the,
do that anymore.
Well, when the hayride's over for the night, you
Oh.
give someone at the end of the line a
Or the
thing
other
that says,
solution,
I'm the last person.
the other solution
And
is have a
then
shift.
you do the same thing
That's-
to have a
we
break
need
for,
those on all the lines,
right.
because I couldn't stop the cotton candy.
Couldn't stop the
Yeah,
balloons.
so
You
if we
have to have
don't do it
somebody
9
on
hours,
the
then
line.
you
Like,
know,
last
it
person
was
I
that
put
was
on
on
the
the
bus.
bus.
That's
Yeah.
not saying this is it.
I
Yeah.
think
I'm glad,
But-
I'm glad you did.
Right.
the only one I think, because with balloon animals and face painting and hay rides, you know, that's fine. They should have that end of line for a break or something.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
for the pictures, we should have a stand in, another person being able to take the shots, because that's what our marketing is for. That's what the whole event is
I
to
agree.
get. To
And
do.
that's why it's hard to have
That
a
one should be
professional.
shut down ever
Because
until the end
A
of the day.
professional
When
is
you have
being
a
a professional, and I
right.
mean that's what they do.
And that's why I don't think it should be a professional. I think it's a conflict for the professional because they are trying to promote themselves and sell their
And they don't
picture.
want to
They're
have
not trying to market
bad
for
quality.
Right.
us.
I agree 100%. It's a pop in, pop out picture. Probably two
Correct.
lines. You get
The
in,
average
boom,
picture
boom,
took
you're-
between 10
and you just keep
15
moving,
minutes.
and then you get
Right.
400, 500 pictures.
Well,
you got
that-
somebody
in
trying to
years,
stage
in years
this thing.
past, we did between 400 and 500 pictures.
In a 4-hour
This year
event.
was 125 pictures.
And everybody
Yeah,
knows, hey, you
yeah.
gotta get in and get out. You just pop in,
Yeah.
2 pictures,
I
and you're
see
out.
Thing is,
both
that was a
sides of
4-hour
it, yeah.
event. We did 400 pictures.
Because she
A
doesn't want
9-hour
to get
event could
bad
have been
quality stuff
1,000
though,
You're
because
right.
that
I
reflects
forgot
on
about
her
that.
bad.
You had
Right.
two
Oh,
lines.
yeah,
You
you're
had
willing
2
to go.
lines. Can you imagine you could
She-
even quadruple?
and of course you would.
Just 2 lines.
Right,
boom.
I wouldn't either if
Yeah,
that
like
was my
space.
business.
We don't have
and-
the space for
Right.
it. They'll-
Right.
The problem is what some of the people that are getting their pictures taken, they can't afford.
No, and I know, and I agree with that,
And the
but I'm
problem
saying
is
I
that
see
they
her
were-
side too, because that is
Judy's
her,
side, is that-
Judy's
okay.
side, yes, because that's her business and that's her name on the line, and
I agree.
so she doesn't want to send out a bad quality image,
Right.
because it doesn't make her look good ultimately.
Right. Or if we
Sure.
train somebody, you know, from our staff who can just press the button basically.
Yeah.
Then
We don't need
Yeah,
that.
I'll
That's
take
like
the
not-
blame
pictures.
for this
I mean,
because
'cause
I
it's-
wanted not to have to pay her.
It would cost us
We
about
went from
300
there,
bucks
so I
anyway.
twisted it around.
Marcy,
It's a
Made her
great-
see the
great
potential of the
for-
marketing value to it.
But no,
Yeah.
I
I
do-
led her down that path.
I do enjoy what she did with the set.
The
She
set
did
was
a
beautiful.
Nice job on the
The,
set.
the pictures, the
the
actual
pictures
pictures
I
that she
saw
did
that were
were
great,
beautiful.
yes.
Were those her backdrops or our backdrops? Or half and half?
Half
Half
and
and
half.
Okay.
I have a question. What is the ultimate goal from the festival?
The
Is
ultimate
it-
goal is to get people on property to know that we are a hotel.
Number 1.
That's number one.
But the actual tangible is we get them in our system.
Correct.
Correct?
We make
With their
money off of
picture
that. Mhm.
or
Correct.
with their name,
Mhm.
correct?
Mhm.
Were
And
we
then we can
successful
market
there?
it.
Well, yeah, because I have a box full of or I have a box
We
full
were still
of
successful. We could have been more
raffle
successful.
We
tickets
could have
that
been
have
much more
everybody's.
successful.
Yeah, I
The
know.
only thing on those raffle
It's a great
tickets,
festival.
there was no spot for people's first and last name.
Yeah,
What
we
the
saw
heck?
that too.
You know
What
what?
the heck?
You know what? I'll let you order all that stuff next time.
I
Oh,
think
was
I made
that
an
you?
executive decision that
Who the
everything in
heck?
orders gets
Who
proof.
the
This is
heck?
not a blame meeting.
Oh, this is
Oh,
blame
no,
on
that's
me.
a pure blame.
That's all on me.
For as
Only
much
if it's
as
that
he
white
bought and spent and did,
They
you,
work
you
in cardboard stock, so we're
It's
good.
true. See, this is
but
what
they didn't
happens.
have names.
This is also what happens when you don't
Dear
check your
Liz,
proofs
I
that well.
drawed one.
I know.
I drawed 2 of them that I had to kind of throw to the side.
Here's
I
what
don't
happens.
use this anymore because I
When vendors don't put their name on the product,
no
and you
way
have
I
to
could
go
decide
shop
who
for a
to
new
figure out who they
vendor
were.
Yes.
and that don't produce the same quality of product.
See,
I'm not
because
disagreeing.
You ruined 2 people winning something because I didn't have a name and I had to put them to the side.
That's all right.
That's all right.
Anyway, no
Oh
problem.
heavens.
Y'all just are
I
wonderful
think
people,
it
and
was-
I love you all so
We
much.
love you.
A
Eric.
different
We
kind
love
of-
you. Next thing
That's how we
that I have
have
on
It
my
was
list.
busy.
What number was I on? Okay. I think we had a good success on the raffles. There was always a line, but
I thought it would have turned out a little bit better. I was a little, but it wasn't
I
bad
thought
at all.
we'd make about $600.
We did
That's what I
600. What I
anticipated.
say, 670.
Which Bill?
Good,
I love you.
excellent job.
I,
It was
I firmly think that a
678,
32 inch
I think,
TV
and then it was
would have done the same for a 60.
568 for
Here's what we need to do though. We need to, I talked to some raffle-minded people.
Yep.
We need to 2 months out. We need to
Start promoting
we need
our
to start
raffle.
selling those.
Promoting the raffle, absolutely.
Selling them or promoting them?
I've never heard
Selling
of selling them
Sell them
before.
pre-sell. Pre-sell.
Can you do that?
Everybody want some tea?
Do anything.
I'll
until
take it.
someone says-
Bill, you want something to drink?
No,
I got Pepsi.
I don't know
Diet
really
Coke.
about pre-selling.
I don't know what Hillary supporters drink. I mean,
I got some bourbon maybe? Is that what it is?
I am
Sweet
so
for
alone.
victory.
I am
That's
by
a
myself in
victory.
this entire
We're not getting
state.
It's alright.
Sweet.
Not in the entire
Thank
state.
you.
because everybody that doesn't vote for Trump is voting for
Yeah.
Hillary.
The only thing I can say, I was a young Ronald Reagan.
Now here's something
I'm
I
not
did run
gonna-
into that completely dropped my mouth.
That
a
is
few
all I'll
times.
say.
I had at least 5 or 10
was
people who
What?
I was
I
pre-
was
running
I was
around like
less
a little
than zero.
red
I was
flag.
negative at that time.
were
I was
upset
negative during the
that it wasn't
Reagan
free.
administration.
They asked me
Okay.
if it was free.
What, is that what you?
So,
Well, I
so
do
pre,
advertise
you're saying
everything
pre-selling the
free.
raffle
That gets
sale,
confusing,
a raffle
I
sale.
guess.
I guess I just never
If
thought
you wanna
about
get to
that.
I'm
Was
just
that
thinking,
The problem with
Where's
that is
your
we have to
trash?
actually have
Oh,
the
it's in this
product,
one.
what we're raffling off before that is.
Well, I think the way that we do that is we actually have a list of all the people that did the raffles.
Yeah.
And what we do is 3 months out, we start going to get those raffle prices at the 3-month out mark.
Yeah, we needed to start
We
earlier.
just need to start, but that was the first time we did that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I mean,
Yeah.
overall, for me, just
So-
going and
Not
asking
first
people,
time.
I couldn't. I thought we did.
There
Yeah.
were, there were
We had a lot of
people that
nice
wanted it, absolutely.
gifts.
What, TV
for
or
a first time last
everything?
minute thing.
Anything.
so
And then,
yeah, and I've set some revenue goals next year, we should be able to double, we should be at 6K.
I definitely think Cotton
I think
Candy
so.
Machine. We rent that for 2 days, so we have it the day before, and we can remake.
Eat it and play with it and cut it our own.
I think
Oh.
that that is a good idea.
I have 6 months out, I think we need to look at
Because that would have done even
some
better.
additional revenue items
Okay,
as well.
I agree.
6 months out, we can discuss that.
What are some additional revenue items, obviously, other than a donation?
well, we can start selling the popcorn. People think
Really?
Well,
Yeah.
so
We could.
here's the thing about the
We could.
popcorn, is 90% of the
It
people
exploded on.
couldn't
I
understand
had-
why it
I
was
had the
free.
same.
Exploded on
It says,
YouTube.
it says it all right
Oh,
there.
I have
well,
more.
Well,
It
if
says
you
it all.
think about it, even
It's
when you
not-
go
it's
to
not
the
donation,
I look
donation
at my
can.
Yeah, I didn't see
we
it,
go
I
to
had to
constant
watch- I took a
basketball,
picture, I'm
baseball,
gonna
football
post it.
games all the time. And I mean, some places they even charge $1.50 a bag of popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I thought a dollar bag for cotton candy was pretty cheap.
I did too.
Yeah.
But
I went
you know
over
what?
to
We
the,
sold a bunch too.
Some
The
of
Johnny
some of them were
Appleseed
free.
Festival, which is very
In Fort Wayne?
successful. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Was that a couple?
I used to be on their board
Yeah.
when they were not paying their taxes.
Okay.
Anyhow, some of those, you can really target, some of these, the corn on the cob is very profitable.
Yeah.
As it should
And that's
be.
a pot and corn. How we could do that, we could make, at least $500 to $1,000 on that stuff. $2
Probably.
a year.
But where do
Some
we
of
get,
those
where do we
items.
get the corn?
That late.
We gotta figure it
Okay.
out. These
All
will
right.
just be, 6 months
Yeah.
out, we need to discuss at least 2 more,
There's
3
another option
more
too of, if people are going to the cabin,
I
new
agree.
revenues.
drop them
Maybe.
$1 and say, hey, if you wanna win a free night stay for this cabin, in the cabin, have it bucketed in there for that.
Oh, that's
Nice
a good
one.
idea.
Oh,
Yeah.
see?
Yeah.
And that's the only
That'd be
thing
good.
that the
you
cabin
have a
was
cabin.
not.
We have a
the
cabin.
was.
I would say.
We did
yeah.
not.
I know. We didn't have a sign on it.
Well, it just,
We dropped the ball.
It was,
I was
yeah,
talking
we
about
dropped.
it.
We all dropped the ball in the cabin. I mean, it was very hidden. It was very. There was a horrible grill in front of it. I didn't like. I mean, and that was my friend's booth, so I'm not saying anything bad about it. But still, it was a big, huge grill sitting out in front of it, and it was
Yeah.
blocking a lot.
Something that Adam told me, he doesn't have exact numbers on it, but he thinks somewhere between 60 and 75% of the people that came to this fall festival,
Oh, yeah.
first time attenders.
Yeah,
Which is
I
amazing
heard-
to me to
So
think
what
really
Christy
about
and I
that.
were talking about from that is what we're thinking is not everybody goes to the event every year. They may go every other year, every third year.
This was my first year being there,
So but you knew about it in previous years.
just from driving
Just
by.
from driving by. But what's interesting about that is that's a lot of opportunity for a lot of people that
That's new names going in those.
So how did they find out about this year?
Same way as everybody else did.
Standard
You gotta
things
think,
have happened each
you
You
still
gotta
have
think-
all the raffle tickets, right?
between the three
I did,
schools,
yeah, I made sure I kept all
between the
those
three
lists, but I
elementary
figured
schools,
would-
you probably have,
want
I mean-
all that
information.
needs to go to Frank.
what is
Let's
the,
do it.
Jamie, what was that count? Wasn't it like 2,000 students or something like that for all three schools? In all the elementaries?
I have it written down.
It was between like 1,500 and 2,000
Yeah, it was
students.
about, yeah, between 1,500,
So,
because it's about 500 to
So
600
think
at each
2,000
school.
students plus 2 parents apiece, that's 4,000 people.
And we
then
sent them
friends
home
and cousins
twice.
of that.
And Facebook.
That's a lot
like,
of people in
advertising.
general.
All
I
right,
had people from Michigan and
but the algorithm isn't right.
I heard
What you're
nothing but
saying.
positive
It-
out of people all day
You
long.
know,
For new people, I mean, you gotta think about that. Word of
Gotta
mouth
have more
spreads.
porta potties.
yes.
all right.
I know you don't like
Seems
paying
like
for
a lot.
poop things, but
Well, I will
We
say
gotta
that
have
a lot
it.
of the expenses that we paid for this year, do not necessarily have to be bought again because they were banners and.
Right.
Which are now labeled and organized.
They are, I know. It's crazy, we put 64 banners on the property, and you could,
It's not enough.
it's not enough.
Um,
But, yeah,
You guys could now put event planning on your resumes.
almost, you're
Yeah.
right. Okay, I've got a couple of things on here. I don't think that we need rental cops next year.
Thank you. I think the blinking lights, the entrance of the hotel
Yeah.
scared people. I really do.
Our hotel guests, yeah.
And I think it was
At the
intimidating.
same time, it did give us,
Why?
I can't see that something was going on.
I got several.
Yeah,
I got
because
several
one of the
messages like,
things going
"What's
True.
going on over there? Why are the cops there?"
But that
See,
means
I
that
have
ours
a
need
mixed
more
feeling
people.
on that. If you're gonna be afraid that the cops are there, then maybe you should.
Well, what do you say about people that have my phone number?
What we could do though is, we have a couple flashing lights, let's plug one in at that entrance
Don't
of the car
say
show.
it.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
One
You
shouldn't
person
be intimidated
suggested,
by the
big
cops.
flashing
one,
lights up.
one person
I saw
suggested,
flashing lights.
That's
I would slow
$600.
down, but I wouldn't want
right,
to drive into the
$600
driveway
over
that they
600.
apply.
right, we don't need that.
Or on each, like, if you
Yeah,
saw
and like I said, what
I
they do
wouldn't go
up
down
in,
that
at
way.
the,
Well, if
would
we
be
don't
doing
have
farm.
them, we still need to have
And I'm
people.
not
More
scared.
volunteers to
We
help
need
with
to have,
it.
yeah.
We have
because
to
they
work
did
out,
direct
we have
traffic
to work
really
out
well.
that, because they were needed when the bus stopped.
I like the flashing lights.
well, like when the,
Oh, we can,
They were
we can
very
order
good
those.
with
those are
directing
like
the traffic.
$10 or less, but it's like they do at the fashion farm where they have the police and the fire department. I said that a couple times
Oh,
during the
the
event.
demo.
When they come out and do a
Who
demo.
offered to get the volunteer
pretty cool.
or the
That
fire
was a-
department there,
I
but
know.
somebody didn't take me up
I
on
know.
it.
It'd be interesting because
I know.
people are actually gathered around watching them. You know how they use the jaws of life and how they go into
Oh,
cars
people would
and
love that.
people
Yeah.
they ate that
So,
up.
you
when
know
I
what's
was
cool,
over
there's
It's a
paramedic.
big-
They also had the Samaritan,
Paramedic.
the helicopter plant.
Tony could bring that.
Which
They
was
have
really
the
freaky cool.
dummies, they have the CPR things,
There's a
they
lot
have,
of-
they
We
could
just
do a
have to
bunch
figure
of,
out where,
yeah.
where we would put that on the property, but we absolutely, I
Because
think
they have
we
a lot
should
of
do it.
demos.
When the
they can
Samaritan
do
actually
between
stopped and
EMS
landed, it was actually kind of cool to listen to that thing. Just,
It
Somebody
would make it less
suggested,
scary if it ever had to happen to you too. So it's kind of a public
by,
service.
by
It's a cool
next,
idea.
by next year, we should have a lot of Family Cove done, at least some sections of Family Cove done,
right.
which will put more people in the woods, by far. So we'll have to think about that for volunteers next year.
And I think storytelling should move down there, because I think it'd be a lot easier for her to pull people off the swings and such.
And it
Yeah,
bounces
And
Trying to
houses.
get
that's,
them off
and
the
that's the
bouncy
age
houses.
group and, yeah.
Exactly, so it's a perfect place for the
Yeah,
storytelling.
She could almost be on the stage.
My request is a second.
Zip line. No, like 2 or 3 more, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
the
that
plan is when we build our fort,
And a couple a little
in-
bit higher
in
for
Family
big
Cove,
kids like us.
there'll be some zip lines that come off of that.
We
So,
can have as big a playground as we want.
I know, and that's what's making me
From
make
the
build a bigger
insurance
fort.
standpoint. We have
Can we
now.
have
I have some
tree
plans
house
somewhere
or-
around
You have
here.
no idea how much I go back to how we were like 7 years old, so we're naming our trails.
So
and,
Oxbow fort type style?
We
Can it
can
raise
go,
above the
we
tree
can
line?
go seriously big.
And,
Oh,
We
mm.
just
Could be
can't
like
go
Step
high.
Brothers all
You
over
can't go
because
to
of
the
the tree
treetops.
house and.
dang it.
You know what I mean, with zip line.
By the way,
Right, we
I
have to
did-
actually be safe.
Right.
I did have 2 people
You
during
can
the
go this
event
way.
say, at first I thought you guys were Oak Brook.
Somebody said that?
2 people.
Oak Brook?
On Saturday.
On Saturday said Oak Brook.
And that's when you just say,
I forgot, I didn't
leave.
text it to you.
Just leave. Right now, leave.
I didn't
Um,
text it to you last night.